Hello and welcome to this week's Minor Regions Top 10 Power Rankings, where I cover the top 10 teams in LOL Esports of the minor regions. Disclaimer for this is 100% algorithm and stat based. I do not watch any games of the minor regions. I did watch 3 CBLOL games last week. I'll come clean. I watched those. I made a video about it, or I did it the week before. Um, Outside of that, though, I haven't watched any. I am debating on watching some PCS games, but if I have time. Um, but so the deal is, because it's statistically based and I don't watch any of the games, I have to do it that way. So if you have any comments, comment down below with how you think these teams actually look. Stats only tell one part of the story. If you are a fan of any of the minor regions, that includes PCS, VCS, LJL, LCO, CBLOL, TCL, and LLA 7. I got it that time. I thought I wasn't going to get it. If you're a fan of one of those 7 regions, and you think, your region's being misrepresented by the stats, that's possible. Give some insight in a scouting report down below. I know we have some PCS and VCS fans around. We have a couple TCL fans and the like. So, before we start this video, I will say the top TCL team is not in the top 10. Sorry, I had something in my mouth. Nasser Turkey Esports are 14th. Their region, the stats are based on what you're doing this split, and then how the regions are compared against each other is based on how MSI went. Istanbul Wildcats were on struggle street, and thus the TCL are nerfed when it comes to their stats. Nasser is 14-0 in Turkey, but not quite dominating at the level that would put them into the top 10, given that the region did so poorly at MSI. I mean, it was one international event. That's all I could go off of. Vietnam hasn't played in years, so that was why I had to go off of one. But disclaimers are done. 10th place. Finally, a VCS team gets back on the board. A team that we know. Saigon Buffalo. We have a person. Well, if you can hear me, you probably... maybe you can't hear me all that well. Saigon Buffalo. Saigon Buffalo are 4-4 from the VCS. 2-0 the last week. Shogun, their 80 carry, dominated. Going 23-1 21-3 and 29. Hosmid did very well also in top lane. I almost put him down, and we went like 22-10 and 28. Really, Saigon Buffalo did a great job. 4-4, you may be saying to yourself, why the hell are they up here at 4-4? The deal is, the VCS is very highly contested. On the Discord, you will see in the in the content section or extra content section, I will post the complete power rankings of the smaller regions. Tomorrow, obviously, the 108 power ranking comes out in the top 25. But as far as Wednesdays go, it's just a smaller region that I post. And you will see that the VCS dominate like a certain section because they are so closely aligned. But Saigon Buffalo, Shogun, playing Smash Mouth League of Legends, dominating this past week, and now are in the top 10. The VCS are the second strongest region based on MSI and based on my algorithm. I account for that, and finally they get into the top 10. Someone separates themselves. 9th place are CTBC Flying Oyster from the PCS. CTBC Flying Oyster, one of the best names in the business, went 3-0 last week to move to 11-4. Sorry, actually went 2-1, moving to 11-4. Mission in mid went 11-6 and 14. The PCS, obviously being the strongest minor region, have a lot of representatives on this list, and that's because they have a lot of teams that have been doing very well. It's very contested going to the end. We have a couple people that are PCS fans that usually give a little bit of insight in the comments, or, I mean, I'm not going to that's not their job or anything, but sometimes we do get some insight on how to make sense of this mess. Obviously, PSG and J Team are the two teams that we're used to seeing coming out of the PCS. Obviously, PSG being a very, very strong team that is arguably probably the best team in the smaller regions over the last period of time. But Flying Oyster 11-4, 3-0 this past week in the PCS. I don't know if maybe I should have put all these markers here. Makes this a slight pain in the ass. I feel like they're all going to fall over at any second. 8th, finally on the board, just in the nick of time. Astral Esports from Latin America. Latin America played their final week this past week. They only played 7 weeks. Astral Esports went 11-3. They went 2-0. And Maru in mid. We're going to go with Myru, sorry. Myru and mid in these two games combined went 20, 3 deaths, and 17 assists. As Astral Esports are the number 1 seed heading into the Latin American playoffs. During spring, their second place sold off a couple players. Mia, their support, going to TSM as a notable one. And I had them in last place. They had a lot of no-names on there that we didn't really know a lot about. Like, what the hell is this team going to be? And in the end, obviously, their GM and coach are solid enough to know talent when they see it and knew they had talent to back up the players they were going to lose. And they're 8th place in the power rankings and first in their region. Lately they hadn't been in the top 10 because they hadn't been quite strong enough in Latin America, similar to the Nasser Turkey situation. But this last week they did dominate to the degree that actually got them propelled up to the list. 7th place, the top team in Brazil is Furia Esports. So, Furia Esports are now 14-2, not 11. They're 14-2. They went 2-0 last week, and their mid laner Envy went 10-3, and 19. Now, this happened in spring. I know I'm not looking at this when I'm talking about this, but this happened in spring. I had a couple Brazil CBLOL fans from Brazil, obviously, in my comment section talking about how Vex was a pick that was commonly picked. And it had been picked commonly in the other regions for points of spring, but when it came to MSI, it wasn't really relevant. And we haven't seen a lot of Vex. Once, maybe, it's probably not even over a handful of times we've seen it in the 4 major regions, this split. But their mid laner, Envy, picked it both times for Furia. They won. He looked very good on it based on the stats. Obviously, I don't really recall who they were against. They could have been against 2 lower tier teams in CBLOL, and that's why they got away with it. But I think it is possible that Vex is a common pick in Brazil. I think that going into Worlds, if I am able to do videos going into Worlds monetarily and things like that, I would like to do a video going over common picks in regions that aren't picks other places, especially when you look at the minor regions, because we don't know a lot about them. That would take a lot of research and a lot of time. That's why I would need time to do it. But it is something that somebody had suggested for MSI that I really didn't do, outside of like really half-assing it, in my opinion. So it is something to consider. 6th place, top team in Japan, Detonation Focus Me. They seem to be the representatives from the LJL on a yearly basis. As, they lost early in the split, but haven't lost since. 14-1. They went 3-0 last week. Udapon in the 80 carry slot went 18-2 and 21. DFM, if you've watched any international event over the last several years, they're there every time. Very good team. Domestically, extremely dominant. All 5 players, I mean, I know them now by name. It's kind of one of those deals like the PSG players, just players that you see year in and year out from these smaller regions almost as well as the regions that you don't watch major region wise. Um, Udapon, obviously very solid though. 18-2-21. Sengoku Gaming, actually, because yesterday somebody, J663 or J633, either way, very big fan of the VCS in the Discord, usually gives us a lot of insight. Um, he had believed that Saigon Buffalo should have ended up on the top 10 this week. And honest to God, they were really close. I think they were 11th going into today before the LGL played, and Sengoku Gaming snuck by getting a win. And statistically, it was not a very strong win. For example, I believe the kills were even, which caused their stats to drop. And because Saigon Buffalo was so close to them, even despite winning, they dropped out. Saigon Buffalo get in. So that's a thing. 5th place, this one's pretty easy. This will just take a second. J Team are 5th. J Team did not play this past week. Due to COVID. All 3 of their games were postponed. They're 8-4, 5th in the power rankings. I don't know if they're going to play the games or not this late in the split. For competitive integrity, I would hope that they give the teams the option to play, not only for J Team's sake, but for CTBC Flying Oyster's sake, and what will be 4th, 3rd, and whatever on this list of more PCS teams that are up towards very closely matched in the standings. It'd be a disservice to not give them the opportunity to play. And I see that my board's all screwed up because now I finally did this, which I was supposed to be doing throughout, putting the region. Now that's not in parentheses, that's not in parentheses. But this is all one take. We don't clean up things around here. Just go with the flow, Crap happens. This is authentic. You are not getting clean takes here. 4th place, Frank Esports of the PCS. They're 9-6. Went 2-1 last week. Holo, their jungler, went 9-2-24. Team that actually showed up in my top 25 last week. I don't expect them to stay there, but who knows? Going 9-6 now, maybe they do stay up there. But very good team, and just another team at the top of the PCS that just continue to do well for a little while there. Their record was kind of sucky, but over the last couple weeks they've been very dominant. I think 5-1 combined, and that's what's gotten them up here so far. 3rd place, Deep Cross Gaming. Of the PCS are 12-3. And this is an indicator of why I think for competitive integrity these games need to be played. Nesty in mid went 13-2-20. Went 13-2-20 for Deep Cross Gaming. And this is why, for competitive reasons, they should have to play the game. So, right now, Deep Cross Gaming are 1st in the region at 12-3. But that's doing a disservice to PSG. PSG are 11-3, but they missed their 2nd round robin game against J Team due to COVID. They should have an opportunity to go to 12-3. Not only, oh shoot. They went 1-1 last week, but it's a disservice to both of them. I mean, Deep Cross Gaming are probably like, I would want you to play so you can be 11-4. I'll be the only 12-3 team, and we're going on as the number 1 seed, right? And PSG probably like, I want to be 12. I want to be 1st seed. So, I hope that Gory. Oh, sorry. So Gory went 9-4 and 15 in mid. Former LCK mid laner, FPX mid laner in spring. But nevertheless, back to this. For the sake of the league and the competitive integrity, it is, if you want to be the strongest minor region league and become a major region, because the LCS stinks, you have to play these games out, at least the ones that matter. I understand that, like, they're supposed to play Meta Falcon team. Meta Falcon team is not relevant, so you could say don't play them. They might have not played Impunity as well. If that's the case, that team isn't relevant either. So play the PSG game, get that done, and go from there. I guess you do have to play them for their record's sake. Those are 2 wins on paper. Meta Falcon team and Impunity. Impunity is very bad, I believe, if I recall correctly, based on what the algorithm has. So as far as standing wise, though, it really doesn't matter. First place, Chief Esports Club of Oceania. At a whopping 19-0. 19-0, went 2-0 last week. Aladoric, their support. And now you're going to be saying to yourself, really? You picked the support? Bear with me for a second. This is his stat line. 10, 7, and 33. The guy had 10 kills in support. I think he had an 8-kill Nami game. I don't think it was a Pyke game. For some reason, I'm thinking Pyke, but I'm pretty sure it was a Nami, as cracked as that is. Chief Esports Club are just absolutely crushing the LCO to the point where it's breaking the algorithm. Last split, GAM Esports did that, which is why the VCS, I know the VCS are better than what their algorithm is suggesting, but I don't watch them play, so I can't manipulate their spot. But this split, it is Chief Esports Club that's really breaking the system, going 19-0. Like I said all the time, 19-2 in spring, so now they're 38-2 on the split on the season. And if they can go to Worlds, I think they could get out of play-ins. I really do. I think that there is a world in best of ones where that team can be competitive. It is a far-fetched thing. I'm saying there's a chance. I'm not saying they will, but there's a chance. Maybe I just said there will be a chance, and I'm going to clean up that whole take like I just said. I think there is a chance that they could get out of play-ins. The team is very good. Arthur is a very good jungler. Tally in mid is solid. Reyes is solid. Topun is okay. And Aladoric's pretty good based on the stats. So this team is very good. We'll see how they perform in the playoffs, if they can get out of playoffs, unlike they did in spring. But that's it for today's minor region power rankings for this week. Comment down below, like I said, if you're a fan of one of these regions and you want to give your team some love. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. In the description, you will find the Discord link where you can go talk with us as games go on. BS. We talk about all sorts of things, comps, builds, teams, the like. And there's also an extra content spot where you can see the complete 62 team power rankings. 61 team power rankings of all the smaller region teams. And yeah, so like I said, thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for more content.